Here we are at the Yorkton branch of Saskatchewan Western Development Museum, where the theme is Immigration People. Ukrainian Room. Most Ukrainians had little in the way of wealth when they arrived in Canada. Therefore, men often had to leave their families and work in railroad construction, mines, or lumber camps. They could be away from their homesteads for months. The added burdens placed on farm wives were enormous. Similar experiences were endured by wives of cash-poor farmers from other nationalities. Ukrainian women, especially in rural areas, often continued to wear hand-embroidered clothing for some time before adopting Western-style dress. Although agriculture was the greatest early contribution made by the Ukrainians, other areas of importance included railway construction, mining, and forestry. We are in the Western Development Branches Museum's Yorkton branch with the theme of Immigration and People. Ukrainian eggs. The American Room. Americans for over 200 years have played an important part in the evolution of Canadian society. Although a similarity in language and heritage made them less visible than immigrants from Europe, American vigor influenced subsequent Western Canadian society. The contribution of one American among many, William Van Horn, deserves mention. Under his leadership, the Canadian Pacific Railway was completed, making possible extensive settlement of the West. The Forrester family from New Mexico owned most of the furnishings in this room. The family immigrated northward in 1904 and farmed in Alberta for several years. In 1920, the Forresters moved to the Balcarres, Saskatchewan district southwest of Yorkton. This basket was made by Mike Novick of Sturgis, Saskatchewan, from prairie willows in a variety of natural sizes and colors. Willow baskets were made around the world before the age of plastics. The style was used as a garden basket in Belarusia. Germans have a long history of settlement in eastern Canada. By the early 1900s, German-speaking groups were attracted to the Canadian West primarily by its agricultural potential. In addition to those arriving from Germany, German-speaking migrants came from Eastern and Southern Europe, as well as many German settlers moved northward from the United States. The pictures and steins in this room are reminders of a family's early arrival. The ethnic identity of the early German immigrants on the prairies was complex because there were a number of German-speaking groups from widely differing backgrounds. These settlers were often defined more in terms of religious belief rather than common culture. German-speaking immigrants earned a reputation as successful farmers, but many Germans also settled in the towns and cities where they made major contributions in small business enterprises and in the skilled trades. Between 1896 and 1914, over 2 million people immigrated to Canada. Many settled on the prairies as homesteaders. Others worked in forestry and mining or were employed in the booming towns and cities. During this short period, the West was filled with people from many cultural traditions, thereby enriching the national fabric. In 1905, largely as a consequence of the rapid settlement of the West, 2 new provinces were created, Alberta and Saskatchewan. Over 1 million of the immigrants in this period before World War I came from the British Isles, but this influx was only the most recent impact made by the British. Along with the French, the British had a long accession with the history and development of Canada. The picture of Queen Victoria and the tray with the portraits of King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra imply a strong faith in the monarchy and in the British. Over the centuries, the people of the British Isles have contributed greatly to the cultural, commerce, governing, and politics of Canada. This model is patterned after the summer home, or Beskaka, of Lucre Kamlika. It was built for her in 1864 under the direction of Alexander Verabov. The home is now a museum in Georgia of the former USSR. And there you have it. Just a little bit of a look at where the people, like little Saskatchewan, came from.